Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How's it going out there? In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about the books that I read in Feb, and I'm also going to speak about the videos that I produce. So it's kind of a monthly roundup that I usually do on my channel. Let's get started. Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're here for the first time, I'm Praveen Ramesh, and on this YouTube channel we've reviewed non-fiction books and I speak about lessons that I'm personally learning and implementing. I find it immensely useful. I hope you do too. So as I said at the start, right? So each month, I've been reading books, trying to produce a lot of videos. I've kind of linked the Roundup video for Jan month somewhere here or in the description. Mostly, I think it will be here. So, I'm doing this for two main reasons. One is to have an accountability, and the second thing is to, it's kind of nice to look back, right? About the books that we have read. Sometimes, we are on a journey to read books, produce videos, just, churning out, and you suddenly feel like, okay, have I looked back at how much progress I've made, or what have I gained, rather than, just beating myself up over, hey, what's coming up next, right? So those are the two main purposes. One is to have accountability, and just to have like a good reflection to see if I want to reread some books, or if I think that I could have made, some videos better or some summaries better and things like that, right? So let's get started first with the books. So in total for this month, I've read 5 books. I must say it was, a good, decent month with respect to reading. The reason I say this is because, the first half of the month, it was pretty topsy-turvy for me personally, and, a lot of stuff happened personally that I had to kind of juggle a lot of things. So, considering that, I think it was a good month, right? So because I had some crazy work hours at work, at office, and then I had a lot of personal things that came up. And third and foremost, I was like hell-bent on producing these YouTube videos, and along with all the other routines that I have, it felt, started to get a bit overwhelming, to be very honest. But I thought, okay, you know what? I took a step back and told, let me not take up any heavy books, but books that will add value to me, but are shorter and easier read. So that was the theme for this month. Right, so on that list, the first book I read for the month, not in any order, but the first book that I'm going to be speaking about is Keep Going. Again, I got a physical copy of the book because, a lot of creators that I follow have personally recommended this across the YouTube channel or on the Twitter handles and things like that. So I think Ali Abdaal, if I'm not wrong, keeps, speaking about the 3 books that Aston Kleon has written. So, one of the main inspirations for me to pick up this book was Ali Abdaal. So again, Keep Going speaks about how you can stay creative, from a personal front, and from producing this information or setting up your workstation and things like that. And it just talks about how being a creator is not like a one-stop shop. It's a journey that takes you on forever and ever, right? So a lot of people think, okay, if I have a certain number of subscribers, I am a creator. But this book helped me kind of break that mental barrier for me, saying, hey, everyone is a creator, everyone has something to share, and it's just about just keeping on going and keeping on sharing creative stuff that you produce. So that's the first book that I read. The second book again is by Aston Kleon, is Show Your Work. Show your work again. So, this is a pretty irony, right? A quick story. So, I'm a marketer. I work with a startup. So, day in and day out, I help market the products of a company, to an audience. But when it comes to promoting my own work, right? So, I've always felt, I made a video on this, in fact, again, a link in the description about spotlight effect, right? So, where I feel, I'm slightly incapable of sharing work, or at times I feel, maybe am I sharing the right thing? What will people think? Will people think that I'm stupid, or am I saying the right things about stuff and all those things, right? And more often than not, I always feel like I didn't have anything original to share, or I didn't have any groundbreaking insights. And if you're someone who's just getting started with the creative journey, these thoughts are perfectly normal. And this book especially, helped me overcome these demons in my head, right? These helped me overcome, hey, it's okay to be an amateur. It's okay to, kind of share the process of how you get things done and stuff like that. So a lot of things that, I have been thinking, okay, should I be doing this, was validated by this book. So I would say, if you're a creator and if you're just getting started with your creator journey, or whatever stage of creator journey you are in, this is a must-read book. Probably it's going to take 1 or 2 hours for you, because I did a lot of highlights as I was reading this book, and I reread a few chapters just to kind of feel good, right? So this was the second book that I read. The third book, finally. So if you've seen my Jan Roundup, you would know that I was having, a very poor stint with, doing autobiographies. I finally broke that with this book, Hit Refresh by, Satya Nadella. Again, a good, easy read, especially if you're someone who is very inspired by how Microsoft has kind of had a turnaround since Satya Nadella took over. He speaks about a couple of aspects like culture and, how the attitude inside the company changed, how they focused on innovation, what is Microsoft going to be focusing on the next 5, 10, 15 years, all those fascinating aspects. Yes, it's an easy read and probably it's going to cost you a very minimal bucks for the the value that you're going to draw, and it kind of takes you into the brain of how Satya was thinking about a few burning issues. So I'm very happy that I finally broke my jinx, because in case just to give you a quick context, I quit 2 books last month. Both of them were autobiographies or biographies. So I'm finally happy that I broke the stint with this book. So that's the third book. Fourth book is a book recommendation that came out of nowhere called Subtract by Lady Klotz, The Untapped Science of Less. Right? So this book kind of revolves around this fundamental philosophy of, as humans, we are always tuned to take, add things to our life to solve problems rather than subtract things. And this book explores that from a biological angle, psychological angle, and all those things, and give you some practical tips around how you can kind of reduce the or subtract things from your life, be it information that you consume or materials that you own and stuff like that, right? Again, a good read. I mean, I would say, not one of those most popularly recommended books, but if you're someone who's just getting started with, your journey to minimalism, or how can you subtract things from your life, this is a really good read. I would say pick this book up. I read this on Kindle, as you could see, every day before I go to bed, I used to read for good 20-30 minutes, right? The fifth and the final book, I just completed this yesterday, but for all that, I think this is going to feature in a lot more, monthly roundups as we go, is going to be The Boy, Mole, Fox and the Horse, right? The best way to describe this book is a warm hug, right? This book is a warm hug to you if you're feeling down, if you're feeling stressed, if you have self-doubt, or if you think, people around you lack empathy and things like that, or if you think that, hey, by seeking help, I'm a very weak person. I did a lot of highlights, and I'm going to speak about that in my book review. But this book felt like a warm hug from the author to us, right? By Charlie Mixie, right? So, he is a famous cartoonist. I just, followed him on Instagram. Amazing book, very light read. Probably it would take you less than 30 minutes to read this book. But it felt like sipping a slight coffee along a sunset and, having a loved one hug you. That feeling of, the little snugginess you get. That's what this book is about. So if you're someone who's just waiting to pick up a book that's very easy read, talking about human emotions, human empathy, love, affection, care, this is a must read. And I love the aspect that, it had a lot of pictures. I'm not going to speak more because I have to cover these in my review. So, those makes for the 5 books that I read for this month. And with respect to videos, I had 8 books that I read because, I was so excited. Sorry about that expression if it was awkward, but, been thinking about, will I ever be consistent and things like that. Maybe I would say Feb was a good month with respect to, the production of videos. So I'm thankful for that. So I'll link all the 8 videos in the description. So if you feel like you want to watch anything, or if you have missed watching anything, do go give it a read. So, 8 videos were produced in Feb or published in Feb, and I read 5 books. So I would say Feb was, let's give it a rating, right? So that's the fun part. I would say it was a good 8.5 kind of a month because, I finally started publishing videos consistently. I hope to keep that up to reach my goal of, 120 to 150 videos by the end of the year, and keep reading as long as, I can keep going. So this is Praveen signing off. In case you want me to review any other books, do let me know. Until the next book review, this is Praveen Ramesh signing off.